Okay, so this is week 7, lesson 3. This is our last lesson for this week, and we are going to continue to talk about interpersonal relationships and boundary setting, and more specifically, assertive communication and self-care for healing. All right. So today is all about reclaiming your voice and your energy through assertive communication and intentional self-care. And many of us were conditioned to just kind of stay small or quiet or accommodating, right? Just be the good girl, don't make any problems. Um, Especially in moments that we actually needed to speak up for ourselves. But honoring your truth can be a radical act of healing, right? And that's why I really do love this subject so much, because I think this is such a key piece of our self-healing journey. So, assertiveness is about honesty and respect, both for yourself and for others. It is not aggressive and it's not passive. It's the ability to say what you need with clarity and calm. And this helps your nervous system feel safe and keeps relationships healthy. So passive styles kind of suppress your needs, right? Whereas aggressive styles overpower others. Assertiveness lives right in the middle. Perfect balance, right? That's where we're trying to get. When you express your needs calmly and directly, you reduce the stress load on your nervous system. You signal to your brain, I am safe enough to speak. And this activates the ventral vagal system, which is the calming, connective, and healing part of the vagal system. Holding in your needs, by contrast, can activate that fight or flight or freeze patterns and contribute to autoimmune flares. So, guilt is common when we begin to speak up, especially for women taught to prioritize others. But guilt isn't always a sign of wrongdoing. Often it is a sign of growth. Self advocacy doesn't mean that you're selfish, it means that you're resourcing yourself for health, connection, and sustainability. So while guilt can be a really important emotion, right? If you've done something to actively harm someone or that is against your morals and values, then you should feel guilty, right? Because that's how you learn. That's not in line with who I want to be. I'll do that different next time, right? But in this situation, if you are feeling that sense of guilt, it's probably because you're pushing yourself out of that comfort zone and you're rebuking that old formula that tells you if you're not putting other people first all the time, you're doing something wrong. And that's simply not true. So let's get practical. I'm not available for that today. This doesn't feel right for me. I need a little time to think about things. These phrases are clear and kind. You don't need to explain everything, right? Another thing that I've noticed about those of us that are people pleasers or have people pleasing tendencies, right? We feel the need to over explain everything. Well, I can't come because I've got to pick up my aunt who's here from New York and I haven't seen her in years. No is a complete sentence, right? That doesn't work for me. I'm sorry, I can't do that, right? Really practice these short, direct statements because they're going to help your body feel safe while keeping the conversation respectful. You don't owe people an explanation for doing what is best for you. I statements are a foundational tool in assertive communication. So try I feel overwhelmed when I don't have downtime and I need some alone time and space tonight, right? This format takes responsibility for your feelings and makes it easier for others to hear and respond compassionately, right? So let's just play with that example for a minute. How often have we gotten to the point that I can't take it anymore, right? I just need some alone time, and maybe we kind of explode on our friend or partner or kids, right? Of you are always needing something from me, right? You're always in my space. You never give me time alone, right? If you can reframe that with these I statements, right? I feel very overwhelmed. I feel like I need some space to myself. I need a little quiet time to just decompress, right? That statement is going to be much more effectively received than placing blame on others, right? Or making others defensive by using a lot of you statements. Self-care reinforces boundaries. So when you take time to care for yourself, you affirm your worth and reinforce that what you need matters. You get to take up space. You get to ask for what you want in this life. It also gives you more capacity to hold your boundaries because you're less depleted. Makes sense, right? If you're feeling better, then you have more capacity to ask for what you want and prioritize your wants and needs. So boundary setting and self-care really do go hand in hand. Self-care also is not just about like bubble baths and days at the spa, right? Those are great things, and if you can do them, do it. But it's also about things like turning off your phone or canceling a plan when you feel overwhelmed, or just journaling your truth, or resting when your body needs rest. It can also be things like physical care, getting enough water, enough hydration, emotional care, like going to therapy or doing things that help you feel regulated and calm. It can also be social care, like doing things that help you feel a sense of connection with other people. Maybe that's going to church or volunteering. They all count. It all counts. Self-care really can be whatever you want it to be, right? I really like to check in sometimes about what does my self-care look like today? And sometimes it might be I just need to kind of curl up with a book and be calm and quiet, right? Some days my self-care is I really need to get some things done. Like that would make me feel best is if I could knock some things off my to-do list. So no wrong or right way to do this. It's all about just attuning to what you need in that moment. You don't need hours of free time to practice self-care or support yourself. 2 minutes of breath work, one glass of water, or one extra glass of water today, or just one honest no, I can't do that. I'm sorry. These small acts really do add up. They calm your stress response and they send powerful signals of safety to your immune system. Burnout comes from consistent override. We often push through fatigue, right? We have so much to do. So we say yes when we need to say no. And over time, our bodies will start to protest with things like flares and fatigue or emotional reactivity. Listening to your limits isn't weak, it is wise. It is hugely wise. It's the foundation of long-term well-being. So let's anchor this lesson into action. What is one thing you can do this week um, to help build on these skills? Maybe it's using an I statement. Maybe it's taking a 5-minute walk for your self-care, or saying no to an obligation that you just don't have the emotional capacity for. Choose something that's doable for you, something that honors your healing, right? Again, this is all about doing it in small, manageable steps. So, as we close, I invite you to reflect on what would change if you prioritized yourself. Not just like once in a while, but daily. What symptoms might shift for you? What energy might return to you? Um, Healing often begins when we stop abandoning ourselves. So, if you take nothing else away from today, right, you are important. You were put on this earth to do more than just go to work and pay bills and serve other people. You get to enjoy your life too. And if you have some old programming going on that is telling you, you know, what you want or need isn't valid, or that everybody else, has to be prioritized over you. You got to make sure everybody else is happy first. That formula is not serving you. In fact, it is making you ill. Okay, so this is all about a gentle shift of how do we start to change that? How do you start to listen to your own wants and needs and then advocate for those things in a very gentle but assertive way? Okay, so that is the last lesson for this week, and I will look forward to seeing you next week where we will start on week 8. See you then.